Welcome to a brand new episode of Blue Haze Dreamers. Today, me and
my boy Nathan Biegel
we'll be talking a little bit about the NBA and what we we'll recap a little bit of what happened in the NBA Finals and what happened kind of a little bit in the offseason. And we will make our way too early case for MVP and who's going to win that or who has the best chance to win that. So just kind of tell everyone a little bit, Biegel, how have you been?
I've been all right. Feels good to be back here in Muncie. Been out in Pennsylvania for a couple months, just working and grinding on this internship. But now we're back for the holidays. I'm glad to be back here with you, dog.
I'm glad to see you, and I'm glad to get you on the channel. Like I said, I haven't made a podcast in it might be a few months. So able to
better time to start than now.
Exactly. So let's just dive right in here and talk about the first topic. The trade, the big trade over the offseason with John Wall and Russell Westbrook. So what do you think about that trade?
Well, it just seemed like Russ wanted out. Like, he didn't seem like he was mixing as well with James Harden as others believed. And now he became the first MVP to get traded in back-to-back seasons. And now he's coming to the East Coast where it's a little weaker. The Nets a little weaker, but hopefully can make them a little stronger. And I feel like he has the possibility to make them a playoff team. Then we go back to the West where John Wall is residing. And so far his preseason has been productive. He said he's got speed up, and that's all he could ask for. He's got fellow college teammate Boogie Cousins to pass to. So they got that chemistry pumping. They got all that moving along with James Harden if he ever decides to fully commit. That's going to be an interesting factor in it too.
Yes, absolutely. And so I was kind of thinking about that trade as well. And who do you think won that trade? Who do you really think which team do you think is going to be able to do better this season?
That's hard. I think the Wizards will do better than they did last season because they got Russ. I feel like the Rockets may stay the same. They also did lose Robert Covington, who's now on the Blazers.
Yes, they did lose him.
Their starting big man. I feel like that they need to go back to traditional. The small ball thing did not work.
No, it really didn't. The Lakers were able to expose them and beat them.
Yeah, so I feel like they...
Sorry, Russell.
Need to go back.
You got carried to D.C.
Oh, Lordy. Who ultimately won... I'm going to go Wizards, acquiring Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I have to agree with you that just because, like you said, they're going to be better than what they were last season. I think that definitely makes them a playoff team for sure. I think the Rockets definitely, I think they got better. And I say that because, yes, they had Chris Paul the year before they had Russell, and then they had Russell, and Russell and just James Harden didn't mix well. They're just two ball-dominant, players. And I think John Wall, he's not as much ball dominant, and like you were saying, he's got Boogie Cousins, he's got that Kentucky chemistry, and I think they all know that, the Houston Rockets and everyone on that team still knows that that's James Harden's team if he decides to stay and if he decides to commit. So I definitely see him making it maybe almost all the way if James Harden stays, but. If not, then we'll just have to see what the Rockets do during the season. So with that, do you think James Harden stays or gets traded?
I know there's a lot of rumors he's going to get traded right now. There's some destinations going up. Miami was one of them. Philly, Brooklyn was up the Bucks too, going with Giannis.
That's true.
I don't think they should go to the Milwaukee. I just don't think him and Giannis will mix well together. I feel like if he wants to win, he needs to go to either Brooklyn or Miami. But I know Brooklyn said they'd probably have to give up either Kyrie
or Kevin Durant.
And I feel like, they already play well together. They know how James Harden can be sometimes. So if he's going to go anywhere, I think of all places he will go Miami. Or we might see some random team throw some random offer that they might like, and they'll be like...
And, yeah, they'll take him. I agree with that. Bucks wouldn't be a good choice. If he went to the Nets, that's a superstar for superstar trade. So that could possibly happen, but I just don't see that. Like you said, Kyrie and Kevin Durant, they just play pretty well together, and so honestly, I don't think that James Harden will go anywhere as of right now. I think he might get traded later in the season, and like you were saying, I think Miami is definitely a big destination for that, and so. They're already able to make it to the NBA Finals with their young squad. So if they have to give up some of their young pieces for James Harden, who's an MVP caliber player, I think that the Miami Heat could potentially win the NBA Finals if you add James Harden and Jimmy Butler and that kind of work ethic. I would love to see that for sure.
Oh yeah, I could definitely pull out something.
Absolutely. So we'll kind of switch it a little bit. We'll go to the West Coast and we'll talk about the LA Lakers. And Beeks, I kind of want to get your stance on this. Do you think that they can repeat?
Ooh, they definitely got a chance. I feel like they did lose a lot of veteranship this past year, a lot of championship material. And they basically got rid of that to bring in the new guys that don't have this championship DNA, like Dennis Schroeder, Harrell. Marcus Gasol is probably the most veteran player they brought back.
And he's got a chip.
He does got a chip thanks to Kawhi.
With Mr. Kawhi.
But I feel like I know Powell was talking about he might want to come out of retirement just to play, or, just go play with his brother in LA. The Gasol name was heavy in Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
I don't know how productive he is, though, going to be. I feel like he's just going to be like what Dwight Howard did last year. And
kind of more of a role player.
Yeah, come in and get the defense. Dwight Howard was top 3 in blocks in the season at one point.
He was. He was doing really well. Yeah, once he accepted his role.
He also hit a 3-pointer in the finals.
Yes, he did.
Dope.
Yes, he did. So what do you think? Are they going to repeat or do they just not have what it takes?
I feel like if they run across the Nets in the finals, they don't got it. I feel like the Nets beat them in the finals if they see them. But they got to get out the West. I feel like the Warriors can always give them a challenge. The Mavs, I feel like could low-key give them a challenge.
Absolutely.
Clippers, obviously, that 3-1 lead was atrocious to watch.
Could not believe that. I watched every single game and I was shocked.
I don't think the Lakers win if they face the Clippers in that Western Conference Finals.
Okay. Wow. So I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I think even if they meet the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals, they can meet the Suns, they can meet the Mavericks, any team out of the West. I think they've got what it takes. You still have AD, you have LeBron. You did have Marc Gasol, which, like you said, veteran presence. Dennis Schroeder, Harrell, who won Sixth Man of the Year last year. You also bring in Wesley Matthews. So I think, if they just mesh well together, I think that's okay losing Rondo, and it's okay losing Dwight Howard. So I think AD can bring a second chip to Los Angeles, and I would love to see it. But I definitely can see, their biggest challenge, being the Brooklyn Nets, with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and their whole squad as well is very well. Their bench players and everything, so they can definitely do really good. And that could ultimately go to 7 games, and I would love to see that. But the Lakers do have a big test ahead of them. The West definitely got stronger, and so did the Lakers. So. I see the Lakers repeating, but we'll just have to see come playoff time.
Oh, yeah. Way too early predictions.
Way too early. So that leads us into our last segment, and we will talk about who do we have winning the MVP this year. So ESPN gave us a top 7, and I'll just read you off the names real quick, and we'll go over them, and we'll give our predictions on who we're thinking will win. So the first one on this list comes, no surprise, Mr. Luka. And then with Giannis coming in right behind him, won MVP last year. Curry, which he was out last year, but everyone thinks he's going to have a phenomenal season. He's going to go off, which we could all see it. AD and then LeBron, they won the chip last year, and so are they going to have that same high caliber play and be able to win MVP and chip again? And then we have James Harden and Kevin Durant. So I love to see all these names on here because I can see any one of these players winning the MVP. But let's go to you, Beeks.
All right.
Out of this list, who do you think it's going to be between? And then who do you think can win it?
Well, let's see. Giannis win 3 in a row. I just don't know about that. I'm trying to think. Has anybody ever won MVP of the league 3 years in a row? I don't know.
I don't think so, but I'll look that up real quick while you're talking.
Luka, I think, definitely has like the higher chance just because the numbers he puts up and the team that he plays for. He definitely gives them the opportunity to excel. Curry and Durant, however, like I feel like if they're in the MVP talks, but they'll definitely win Most Improved just because KD was out last year and Curry was out most of the year last year. I think it comes down like LeBron's will always be in like the talks, quote unquote. You say you found what'd you find?
Yes, so we found that Bill Russell is the only person to win the NBA championship or NBA MVP 3 times. And he won in 1961, 62, and 63.
So he'd be the first player since the great Bill Russell.
The great Bill Russell, wow.
That's definitely a big feat. I think it's going to ultimately come down to Luka, Giannis, and LeBron as like the top 3 they vote for at the end of the year.
Okay, and out of those top 3, who do you have winning the MVP?
Just pure stats. I know LeBron's numbers might dip a little bit just because 1, age, 2, and AD's the guy there. So he's going to carry most of the load.
He's the younger guy. He's got to take more of the shots.
Number wise, I'm going to go with Luka. If the Mavs can finish top 3 or 4, locked in Luka.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's a great pick to choose because looking at this list, like I was saying, each player has the potential to win it. To Giannis win a 3rd MVP, that's going to be really hard. I feel like he would have to do even better than what he did last year. And I think that calls for the Bucks making the NBA Finals and maybe even winning it. So I would definitely...
It's definitely hard to reproduce a year that you had last year. He had a phenomenal, crazy year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was probably leading all stats and everything on his team. Giannis could potentially be the 3rd-time MVP if he makes it to the finals and potentially wins it. Luka, I have to agree with you, Beeks. I definitely have Luka in that conversation just because the way he was able to ball last year and the way that I think he's going to ball this year and his basketball IQ coming from the Euro League and just being able to play how he is, and he's hitting game winners. He's not scared. Like he's one of the great players who's great young players who is going to be good for a very long time. And then Kevin Durant. I think if Kevin Durant stays healthy, I know a torn Achilles is very hard to come back from. I don't know personally, but just tearing that. Devastating, that type of injury. I know it takes a lot. So if he's able to compete and stay healthy, I think he's definitely in MVP talks. So if I had to say, I would definitely probably say Luka as well. And just the reason why I say that is because he had a great year last year and he was able to just ball out. And so I think that he'll also have a great year this year, and like Biggs was saying, if they stay in the top 3 or 4 of the West, then they definitely Luka will have it because he'll almost be dropping triple doubles every game. I mean, he'll probably
almost every game his chance for him to drop a triple double,
and he'll probably be averaging 28 points per game. I see it. So definitely excited to see where this NBA season goes. Just want to say thank you so much, Biegel, for coming on Blue Ace Dreamers and talking. And
of course, so glad. It's always a privilege, always a great opportunity. I love it. Thanks for having me on, my man.
Absolutely. And so hopefully make a podcast next week. So just stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this one.